Brother Gweilo, how are you, man?
Chilling, brother. Spacing. What's going on?
Ain't shit, man. So, for the people listening, we just first of all, welcome to the podcast. We're going to go over some stuff that was revealed maybe a couple of weeks ago in the last couple of days. Just give our views on how we're feeling about this stuff, man. So we're gonna start off with one thing before we even get into this, and that is Brother Gweilo here has finally started playing Last of Us 2.
That I did. That I did. I mean, I started today actually, and watching that or playing that game is definitely good because he actually, well, since I had the first one already fresh in my mind, I could see how it kind of intertwines, especially the chemistry between Joel and Ellie, how that's kind of a little different in the beginning. So, but I'm still in the early stages of the game, so I'm sure
Okay.
that's going to play out. But
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything then.
but so far gameplay wise, I mean, this I'm loving the customization aspect of this one. It's definitely more advanced than the first.
Mm.
I'm loving the whole crouching mechanics. That's also another new thing they implemented where you could just kneel and duck down and crawl. So that's pretty well. And definitely the AI is a lot smarter than the first one. That's important.
Yes, fuck yes. Um, I definitely can't wait till we both finish this game because I want to have like a really in-depth talk about it, man. Because I think a lot of reading or seeing a lot of articles and reading a couple of reviews, there's a lot of people are kind of 50-50 on it. They either like it or they don't.
And
And
yeah, and that's the thing. Um, Especially at this stage of the game, is like when I see a review, it's like there's were a couple of times that I dodged a bullet because all of a sudden they just wanted to spit out spoilers, and I'm like, no, I don't want to know anything because what's the use of knowing what's gonna happen? Even
yeah,
though I kind of have an idea, but I rather find out for myself, you know?
no, the same here. As I told a friend of mine, a lot of this game is going to become when is that person going to die? That's how I feel about it. Every time I see somebody new, I'm like, okay, when are they going to die? That's
Mhm.
about it. Like, but I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying it. I think it's a fantastic game so far. I'm trying not to take what I've heard or read into account and just
Mhm.
and have my own feeling on it. But we'll see once we finish the game. And if I give it, probably end up giving it another playthrough at the end of the year if there's nothing else to play. But I doubt that. But
Mhm.
we'll see. We'll see how that's gonna go, man. So let's get into this EA Play reveal, man, from a couple of weeks ago. They started off with Apex Legends Season 5, the Lost Treasure DLC. Um, I'm not an Apex Legends player, so I can't sit here and act like I know about this game. It reminds me a lot of Overwatch, but and I'm not really into the PvP aspect of things anymore like I used to be. But I have to admit, the game does still look fun as fuck. Even like I said, even though it doesn't grab me in any way, but it does look fun, man. Like if I wouldn't mind watching like a Apex Legends tournament or something, the way we went to the Overwatch finals a couple of years ago, man. What do you think about the whole thing?
Mhm. Well, I mean, that's not like my cup of tea. Like when because it kind of reminds me of Fortnite in a way, which I'm not saying it's a bad game. I mean, it looks fun as hell, and even Apex Legend looks fun. But as far as the type of games that I like to play, especially the way how I play them, that's I'm more lean. I'm a more of a linear type of player. You know, a lot of solo games, or if let's say if there's a game that if it's a co-op, then I like definitely to play like cooperative gameplay instead of I guess what PvP is
Yeah.
what
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So, but I mean, overall, I mean, the graphically, it looks stunning. It's definitely bright. It's definitely, it catches your eye. It's fast. It's quick. If you definitely like that type of game, then I would, then I would check it out. You know, if I was into that type of gameplay.
Next, they showed I can you can kind of say kind of like a real cool short video on The Sims 4, and they announced it was going to Steam, and that was just a small portion of it. But it was more about the diverse aspect of The Sims and how it allows people to come together in such an awesome way. I'm not a fan of The Sims, like, and I'm not even going to say that. Like, again, it's a game that never grabbed me. I've seen people play it. I may have played it once or twice in my life and just don't remember. But I know how big this game is, and to see that commercial and see the diversity and how it allows people to feel like it's something that you kind of have to appreciate in this climate that, with everything that's happening, people need a release, or people need an outlet. A game like The Sims is giving them that, man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a game like this, like The Sims, is definitely it's a good game to play, especially with these times, with what's going on with the world, and got to practice social distancing, and we can't go out as much as how we would love to. So that pretty much The Sims is that outlet of expressing yourself and
Mm-hmm.
actually going outside and interacting with people online, from a safe point of view,
Yes.
and The Sims does deliver that, and I think that more. I would be surprised if more games of that genre might become a little bit more popular as these times go on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I see it as being a thing. I remember I used to think the same way what Animal Crossing was years ago, and on the GameCube and on
Mhm.
3DS and so on. And look at it now. It's one of the most anticipated before it released, and definitely coveted for people who don't have it but see it.
Mhm.
It's The Sims could be one of those games, or it probably is, and I'm just not paying attention to it. You know.
Yeah, like, look at what Minecraft is huge.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Next up was they showed a commercial, a trailer for the remaster of Command and Conquer, which is an RTS game. It's weird because this came up and we just started having our own conversation about
Yeah.
life. So, not to say that Command and Conquer isn't an excellent series. Obviously, it wasn't something that we saw and was super excited about. It's just another one of the. It feels just like, oh well, they remastered it. That's nice. We'll wait till this trailer's over.
I feel that Command and Conquer to me should have been a mobile game for some reason. I don't know.
Like
That's
now,
yeah,
it
yeah,
probably is. It probably is. I'm not. It might be. We don't even know. Again, we don't pay. We're not paying attention to that game franchise, and
exactly.
it's probably the most like one of the most fantastic RTS games ever. And we're just like, yeah, whatever, whatever.
It's like a fart in the wind. That's how I take that
Oh
game.
God. Okay,
That's all it
that's
is.
horrible. Next, which is the first of three games that we actually loved in this reveal, and the first one was It Takes Two by Hazelight Studios.
That I'm curious to see because that's from the same guy who gave us Brothers and A Way Out. And those two games to me are the one of the best indie games that I played, especially Brothers, which I mean it's just the storyline is so great that it just brings you in, especially you control two brothers and you have to find the cure for your dad and they have to go on this huge adventure
Mm.
just to figure out or just to find that cure, and then
Excuse me.
towards the end or what happens at the end is great. And
Yeah.
it's like I think that game is a coming of age because that little kid has to you can see him, he has to man up, and he mans up a lot in this game,
Yeah.
especially when he has to
Yeah. He
do
does.
that scene by himself. And for a Way Out is a game that I never played something like that, and I'm glad that
No.
when we played it, it's actually a co-op where you pretty much play as one character and you play the other, and those two storylines intertwine. And I love how both of us are in jail and we're both trying to break out,
Mm.
and definitely what I love about that game is teamwork because Because if we can have to if we're in a situation, then we have to depend each other on how we're gonna get out, whether it be the driving scene or the boat scene. I mean,
Hmm.
it's definitely a game that keeps you in there, and then the twist at the end is
Yeah.
what pretty much got me. It was like, holy shit. I
The
mean,
the thing that's awesome is nothing in that game as far as the relationship between the two characters, the ways in which they bring them together,
mhm.
everything that happens between them, like nothing feels forced.
No,
But there
no.
there are game aspects, obviously, because it's a game, but nothing in there feels like you put them together just for the sake of putting them together.
Hmm.
It's even though story wise these things have to happen and there's a reason behind it, it never feels like there's this bullshit reason why this happens.
No, yeah, I totally agree, and that's why storytelling is definitely key, because these two protagonists, they have there's a purpose, where
Yes.
w- one guy has his purpose and the other one has his purpose. And
Hmm.
then when you find out that huge plot twist at the end, everything kind of comes full circle,
Yeah. Yeah.
and depending who wins, you get to see a different ending,
Yeah.
which it definitely has a replay value,
It's
you
great.
know.
It's so good. I think we were genuinely surprised by how great that was. Like we knew it was going to be fun, but
Hmm.
I didn't. I didn't think I was going to be so like into the story the way I was.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic game. So if it's with those two games being their pedigree right now, a game like It Takes Two, even though we really didn't see anything from it, we heard more about it, saw some shots of some of the stages itself. These We know that these guys are going to create a cooperative experience that's going to keep you involved in the game and love it. So that's definitely one. They didn't even say anything about a release date, or so that's just one of the games that's on the list of anticipated releases. We'll just to be determined.
Yeah, I mean, when he said it's co-op, and I believe he said it's gonna be a 2D
Yeah.
platformer.
Hmm.
I mean, to see that and in a cooperative experience, and hopefully it'll be online cooperative, so you could play with a friend,
Yeah.
So if that's the case, we'll definitely be playing that game.
Of
And
course. Of course.
I mean, he has two games that are pretty much fun under his belt, and I think this one is definitely a look into it.
Yeah.
When they
Yeah.
release, hopefully a gameplay trailer of this, I can't, I definitely want to check that out. But
Hmm.
I'm curious as to what it takes to what that might bring.
Definitely. Definitely. Next was the second of our top games. Lost in Random by the company Zoink. I just to remember to have it down as Dice Game, but the first thing, and I mentioned this when we watched this, was it reminds me of a Tim Burton animated film.
That
The
it
style,
does.
yeah, the style is so beautiful. It looks great. That little gameplay footage that we saw, even though just the little spurts and compilation, but it still looks great. It looks so fun for what we've seen. It's on my radar. It's definitely on the radar.
Mhm. It's definitely fun. I mean, it's a 3D platformer, and like you said, the style reminds you of the Tim Burton, like once Nightmare Before Christmas, I believe. And
Hmm.
it's definitely a creepy vibe, and just seeing it, it makes you want to play, right off from the back. So
Yeah.
it's like that game. Another game that I'm gonna cross reference is it My Little Nightmare, I believe.
Oh, Little Nightmares.
Little Nightmares, yeah,
Yeah.
which is a fun game. It has
Very.
its creepy elements in it as
Hmm.
well. So with this game, I'm definitely can't wait for this to come out, and I'm hoping it's a physical
Oh,
release.
good lord. I mean, it might be. We don't know, man.
Mm.
I haven't. The funny thing is, I've never played the DLC for Little Nightmares, and I know it came out, and I've just never got around to it. So I might have to put that on the backlog, like
Yeah,
snatch it up, save it, and put it on the backlog.
a crazy thing with that. I remember when I went to New York a few years ago, you was there with me when I had bought Little Nightmares,
Hmm.
and then I bought the collector's edition. It was a nice little packaging,
Yeah.
and then I didn't want to open it because I was like, damn, it looks so nice in this
Yeah, it's cool.
package,
It's
and the
cool little
figure.
collector's edition. Yeah.
So then I bought it used for the Xbox, yeah, Series X, and um, and that's pretty much it. I think that brings all the DLCs, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I'll check because I'll see what it is. Because
Hmm.
mine is up there. I opened it so we can
Next
play
one's
it.
one.
That one I think I opened. So we'll see what it is. It's not like Last of Us 2 when the collector's edition comes in and I'm not gonna touch it. It's not that. It's not
Wait,
that one.
you still got the Blasphemous. You got to play.
God, yeah, that I can't wait to play that one. That I think what's funny, like that will end up being the game I play in between Ghost and Avengers, which we'll get
Oh.
into later on. But
Mhm.
that little time frame, I think Blasphemous will be thrown in there. Okay,
Uh,
so next we got Rocket Arena by the company Final Strike. That's the PvP game. I think it's 3-on-3 PvP. Looked really fun, really awesome art style. Even though I'm not into that stuff, I definitely saw this trailer and was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind playing it. I definitely wouldn't mind it.
yeah, to me, that'd be a nice little party game
Hmm.
to play with friends and stuff. Like everybody's playing that couch cooperative play and just have tremendous time with it.
Yeah.
Maybe have a couple of drinks while playing that
Yeah.
game. I can see it right now.
Oh yeah. Like 3 or 4 6 packs in and I'm angry about life. Nah, like I saw it and I want to see more. The fact they announced
Mhm,
that it was gonna be cross-play game at day one.
mhm.
So that's cool because be able to play with different types of people, different types of systems, whatever. Um I kind of see Rocket Arena, funny thing, like as being one of those games that'll come out on Game Pass somehow, and it'll be
Mm.
free for Game Pass subscribers. I hope that's what it is because I really don't want to pay for anything else right now. but
Who does?
yeah. But listen, again, everything. It seemed like everything is more like, hey, this is what we're doing right now. Uh, the next one, which is our game of the reveal, was Star Wars Squadrons by Motive, and the first thing outside of how beautiful this game looks, the first thing that got us where we were like, okay, we're locked in and possibly going to go another route in gaming for us is that it is VR supported.
Mm. I think that game, watching the game trailer for that one, and that would be the game that might convince me to actually purchase a VR console, because
Yeah.
everything else what I've seen when they came out, the VR, it was like pretty much buying I guess a demo console, because at that time not a lot of games came out.
Hmm.
But then with this be coming out, it's a flight simulator. You could play being the X-Wing, TIE fighter, and I love it where you could fly these ships in the cockpit, and you have all these crazy dogfights, and it looks intriguing just watching in the regular screen, but actually playing it in VR mode, you definitely feel like you're flying in there. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's something. It might be a Black Friday purchase for me.
Oh, the PSVR.
Hmm.
Yeah. I
So.
mean, I don't even know what it costs now. I've always been intrigued to pull the trigger on that one and then buy one of those. Matter of fact, funny thing, like this Christmas going into the New Year's, I was thinking about snatching one up, but just didn't have anything to play on it that I hadn't played before. You know, this if this is that game that makes you buy a PSVR, then so be it. But it looks great, even playing it without playing in VR. So, and that as something that's coming out in October at the beginning of my vacation, this is this is the good game to run that vacation with. Um, Next, we had a trailer for EA Sports Games, high definition sweat at its
Mm.
best, 4K sweat, nothing better.
$10
Uh,
microtransactions.
yeah, we got to buy new types of sweat now.
Hmm.
Um,
You got Gatorade sweats.
yeah, now we're new sweat technology brought to you by. But after that was a small look into what EA and their studios are doing technology wise, and they mentioned a couple of things. BioShock. They mentioned Criterion Studios and what they're going to do. Hopefully, and there's a Burnout game. If we're going to get a, if from what it looked like, it's like, oh, these companies and even Dice they mentioned, and it looked like these companies are going to do something awesome with the new technology. Nothing special here. Just the company saying, hey, we're doing something.
But hopefully they won't just be a placeholder and not do shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true.
Hopefully hopefully they'll do something. We might hear a little bit more of them when the next generation's consoles coming out. Like I want to see what when they do when PS5 comes out, what do they have in store for that? Especially with the Series X coming out, what do they have in store for that?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I believe that going back to like for the indie games, I think we might be seeing the same thing what happened with this generation going into the next, where aspect of it is I think I won't be surprised if they're gonna carry this system as well, because I do remember like this generation we had a little push, a lot of nothing in between. But that when it came to the AAA games, but in
Mm-hmm.
that between state, you had a lot of good indie games that came out, and
Yeah.
that's why like Brothers was one of them. And then in the middle, we got something during the whole God of War, Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
and then a couple of indie games in between,
Yeah.
and then now
But
we
that
are,
was a year. That
yeah,
year, if I'm correct, didn't we get? Wasn't that the year we got, or was it last year or the year before? That it seemed like every month we were getting a banger. I think it was
yeah,
last. Well, because
it
remember,
was,
it was like we got Resident Evil. After Resident Evil, we got Anthem. After that, and I'm not gonna say Anthem was a banger
mm,
at all, but I
mm,
mean like we were just getting
it,
games one after
mm.
another. But we
It
got
was a
Resident
it was
Evil.
it
Then
was
it
a banged
was
up job.
yeah, bang job definitely.
Hmm.
But then we got Resident Evil. Then we got Anthem. Then we got the Division 2, and then we got something else, and then Cyberpunk. I believe Cyberpunk was supposed to drop at one point, or it was like something along those lines. But we had gotten a stream of
Hmm.
AAA games that had dropped. Some being really really disappointing, some being fantastic. Fuck,
Hmm.
but I'm hoping. I hope this launch window doesn't mirror our current generation's launch window. I don't really want a lot of tech demos. I want some things with innovative gameplay out the box. So I feel like if I bought my PlayStation 5 or my Xbox Series X first thing, that I invested, that immediate investment pays off.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
don't want to feel like you're buying a paperweight, you
No,
know.
not at all. Not at all.
You,
So next and final was the announcement of Skate 4, which apparently apparently is the release of the Snyder cut of video games right now, where fans have been asking for it, and they have been, and EA finally listened. They didn't give us a better fucking Anthem, and didn't give us a new Mass Effect yet, but definitely, Skate 4 is coming. They didn't show anything, just two guys talking about it, one guy being a lot happier than the other, and
yeah.
and that's about it. Now, here's my question, because I mean, there's not much to talk about unless we go back into the skate history, and I'm not doing that. Is this something that EA jumped into because of the release of the remake of the first two Tony Hawk games?
Ooh, well, I think if we if we gonna go to that, I believe a lot of it has to do with how we all look at EA as a whole. And what I say about that is let's look at well, we already know what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda, and how they pretty much shitted on that whole game by taking the main programmers and putting it on Anthem and just
Yeah.
leave their B crew there, how they fucked that up. And then let's also now talk about Anthem and how they told us that this game was going to be so good that we got our best people playing, working on this game. And then, when we got to it, it was just a shit sandwich, two buns in the slice of shit right in between. That's all it was. And the
Yeah.
people who got the Legion of Shit editions, they're the ones that got fucked even more.
Yeah.
At least we got the poor man's edition where it was like we just got it off the box
Day one.
and they won. I mean, we got the day one patch the same time that they got the Legion of Dawn edition,
Yeah.
And how is that? I mean, you're paying for more to get to get early
Earlier.
access,
Yeah.
which means earlier I guess upgrades and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But EA, with the whole, microtransaction with the Battlefront and stuff, like there's a lot of ground, there's a lot of things that that they have to make for it. And I think with Skate 4, I believe that if I have to compare it, I would believe that if EA ha- had a trouble hearing the fans, like they had earwax built up, I think they actually took a Q-tip, cleaned their fucking ears, and then all of a sudden somebody whispered Skate 4, and then they're like, Skate 4. Oh shit, yeah. Well, you know what? Let's do it right now. Let's do Skate 4, and hopefully we'll win back the masses. So I
Somehow.
I think
Somehow.
I think it's good. I was never into the whole skating thing, but for them to actually listen to the fans that actually wanted this game, I think that's a step towards the right direction, and I
Yeah.
hope that they know that you keep your fans happy, and they're gonna support you no matter what. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna shit on them, then they're gonna shit back on you. And the way we protest is with our wallets,
Yeah.
and
You're right.
that's how we make them listen.
You're definitely right. You're definitely right. Let's move on to the Avengers reveal, man, because I think this game, no one had any clue what it was going to be. It was a lot of uh, just guesses and trying to figure out what it was going to be. Kind of became skeptical of what it was of what it could be. We heard some things. It was an MMO. We heard it's
Hmm.
RPG, that type of thing, and then we get this awesome reveal. And first and foremost, I mean, what did you think about this game as we were watching this whole thing?
I mean, I was something that I wasn't expecting it to be like you were saying. Like I had a pack where it was gonna be like an RPG type of thing, and which it has RPG elements in it, which is
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yeah.
And definitely it's in the combat's in real time, and there's a lot of customizations, which is great. The gameplay, what they showed this with Thor,
Mm-hmm.
is definitely a game that I would definitely be interested in picking up, because I was skeptical like you in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
because Square Enix just had an announcement, and then but they didn't show anything, so we were like, okay. And then what threw me off was when they say you can actually play this on and offline, and
Mm-hmm.
coming from the whole Anthem debacle, I was like, I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it, because I'm kind of seeing that made me kind of look at MMOs in a different way.
Yeah.
But when they say
Excuse me.
it's not really an MMO, but more of an RPG type, then I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Then from what I saw, I'm in, because I love, when they show Thor's on mission, the way how he handles Mjolnir, and he has and they have like three different type of hits, and you could set up different combos. I mean, it's such a good game,
Yeah.
especially they showed what's it, Kamala Khan. She looks like a fun character to play.
Yes. 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 I love Miss Marvel. I think it's awesome. Um, the combat looks as fun as you can get with a game like this, with multiple characters on screen, and with multiple play styles. We don't know anything about co-op as far as how many players co-op. It's 4 or 5 player co-op or whatever. Um, so we can look at what we have. I have like the first thing I wrote outside of the main villain being MODOK, which is cool too because no one's seen him in any other game. We've seen him in comic books for years, but as far as games or movies, MODOK is something that everybody kind of looks past. Um, I put down a Once an Avenger Thor gameplay, which we saw and loved the gameplay aspect of it. The next thing I wrote, and I put this one with in big letters, was combat looks so fun, and that's I think before any all the story stuff is great, but if there's nothing that's engaging outside of that, then it's not worth playing. And seeing this combat, it looks great. They talked about their outfit designs being unlockable, some being purchasable through iconic quests. And then the one thing that got us going was war zones, talking about these massive quests that are co-op, story driven, allows you to build a hub world in there, kind of like Destiny and other MMOs do. I wish that Anthem wasn't your first soiree into, it wasn't your first thing into MMORPGs. I wish I could have got you into playing like WoW or anything else that we were rocking, years ago in the early 2000s, because then you would have. I think that you wouldn't have that view towards MMO the way you do. Like you might feel hurt by the girlfriend, but you've had rejection before. It's cool.
Yeah, it's like I mean that's what it is. It's like, her. I mean, with that being my first MMO experience, it's like I feel like I'm judging it from what I experienced, of that game,
Yeah,
and it's kind of unfair, but at the same time, well, not really, because I remember we had played the Division and the first one,
yeah, we did.
and,
Yeah.
and that was kind of fun.
Yeah, I forgot
We
about that. I keep forgetting that we played that first before. So
and
there it
then
goes.
and then when we played Anthem, I think we were definitely expecting the same outcome as when we were playing the Division,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where it kind of everything went to shit because it was like we made it fun,
Yes, yes.
the playing amongst friends, I think, made that game good for what it was,
Mm-hmm.
but content wise it lacked. I
Yes, it did.
felt that that game was half baked. I believe that it was rushed, and I believe that when it came to story wise, they really didn't have a lot to deal with. They didn't really have a lot to tell, and they'll just give you little gaps here and there. And then I felt the ending was more of half. It felt like we were just told half the story.
Well, remember there was some. Well, first thing first, that whole development cycle was shit. It was a massive
Hmm.
clusterfuck. BioWare at that point is imploding. They had a game. They had part of a game created, scrapped said game, started another one. All this before E3, before they have to announce the game. They didn't have a name of a game till a few weeks out. Um, it was a project in which BioWare had no clue what they were doing. And not saying that their programmers aren't good or anything like that, or developers are not good. It's saying it on a level where this was so up in the air and anything could happen at any point. Like there was no structure in making this game. So now we know that obviously you're going to get a story that's quote unquote half told because they want to build more stories and add it to it. So we're not supposed to feel we're supposed to feel satisfied to a T and then want more to satisfy some more. Let's get some great story and stuff in there. It was a game that every week we went back to, we played a lot, and every time we went back looking for something new, that something new was just as disappointing as it was the week before.
Well, I got a question for you then.
Mm-hmm.
With with the new generation consoles coming in, and with the saturation of games that the PS5 is going to have during launch and then some, are you really going to give a fuck about the overhaul of Anthem at that point?
Only if it's good. So it's not about. I'll always make time for great games. We'll make time for it. So,
Hmm.
it's not like I'm going to be playing, since you mentioned PS5, it's not like I'm going to be playing Miles Morales, Spider-Man forever. That game is half the amount of time that Spider-Man, the main game, is.
Hmm.
So with everything in there, I'll run through that game in a good amount of time. There are other games that will be coming out in between all that. If this overall happens, so we're going to speak as if we know that this overhaul is going to drop. If this overall happens and it's actually well done, and well done to a point where we're looking at it and going like, okay, you know what? And we see the reveal, and I'm looking at it, and you both looking at it and going, this might work. Like this could be something. I'll give it a shot. I'm not gonna count. I'm only gonna count it out now because we haven't seen a thing about it. Matter of fact, we really haven't seen anything from BioWare. Period. It's rumors of a Mass Effect trilogy, but other than that, we've not seen anything nor heard anything about Anthem, other than little updates that they're doing here and there that they might tweet out. Remember Bernard Irving and a couple of other people up and bounced from BioWare and went elsewhere. So obviously BioWare is not in a great state. So if they gotten their shit together and they're building this game and they can show us something, we're not having an E3. So all these other companies are figuring out ways to show us something. EA just showed us a bunch of shit. For some reason, they're not showing us anything. So, but we're seeing shit from Ubisoft. We've seen things from, from Cyberpunk, which again we'll talk about in a second. We're seeing all these things. BioWare is not showing us a thing. Not even a logo. Like, give us a logo. Give us something that shows that you're really working on this game, other than a Twitter post in between, for in between a bunch of update Twitter posts. Give us a little bit of something. So I'm not going to say, like, am I going to care about it? At this point, I don't, because I don't see anything on it. It's kind of out of sight, out of mind. If it comes down to, we have, we're nearing July. We have some months before the end of the year. We have some months before the launch of these new consoles. If you want to be that game and go, hey, listen, the new overhaul is coming and it's part of smart delivery, for the Series X, or you're going to be allowed to play it for free, upgraded wise on a PS5, and they show us something that's really, really great, I'll give it a shot. I still have the game here, so it's not like I'm losing any money. Now, if they're going to make me buy it again, then they can forget it.
Hmm. Yeah,
You
that would
know,
be that would be but that would be a slap to the face of everybody that's purchased it, because I
mm-hmm.
believe that if you bought a game that's so unfinished, and if they're gonna do the overhaul, then I believe it's EA's responsibility, or BioWare, to actually make it right and have this overhaul, make it free, where if you already purchased a game, this is the game that we promised you in the first place. So therefore,
Exactly.
you're not gonna pay any extra for it.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, and like you said, and if it's good, then I mean, I could pick up a used copy, because like I said, I traded that like a year ago because I
Yeah,
was
you
so
did.
frustrated. But if it's good like that, then I would definitely pick it up, buy a used copy, and give it a second shot. And I'm hoping that we get to see better loot, and hopefully the grinding that we do will actually be justified of the rewards that we actually would get
Mm-hmm.
for a set grind.
All right. Yeah, true. There you
Because
go,
I don't
man.
believe that if we're playing in master mode, we're still getting loot as if we're playing in on easy mode.
Mm-hmm.
That never makes sense to me.
Yeah. It was a lot of shit that they just had no clue what was going on, and it was a just we'll get there. We'll worry about it when we get there. And yeah, you get that in MMO sometime, but not on a level like this where it's sheer incompetence, and it's $60 of my money spent on incompetence with the hopes of somebody going, hey, I hope this gets better, and it didn't get better throughout all this time. Like, it didn't get better. The loot drops are shit. That the one thing that they made better was when their loot the loot issue, they made sure that was better for them, but it wasn't a good
Mhm.
thing for us. So I I don't have any high hopes for it. But if they do announce something soon, and it piques my interest for a little bit, I'll definitely admit it and I'll give it a shot. Like I said, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, if it's, I mean, I'm not gonna hold my breath. If this overhaul does happen, I believe it's gonna happen next year.
Hmm.
I don't really, at this point on, I don't really think that BioWare has they're any closer or ready as to when they're gonna, how far they have this overhaul complete. Because judging by past history, I wouldn't be surprised if they're still scratching their heads trying to figure out how we're gonna make this game playable.
Something, and then they have Mass Effect, they have Dragon Age, and those are two. No matter how we feel about Andromeda, there's always there's people who love the Mass Effect series, um, and hoping for redemption in its own
Yeah.
way. Dragon Age 2 was a fantastic game. We're waiting for that third one to come. So they're probably let's get something from them. Let's really sit down and get at least a screenshot of a wizard, something that shows me that you're doing something amazing at this moment. Um, On to Cyberpunk 2077. They had the Night City Wire, the first episode of it. We know that we already got the news that it was pushed back to November 19th from September because they want to do more Q&A on it, get the bugs out. They stated the game is done, but they want to do all this other stuff. What we've seen as far as the brain dance gameplay and some things, there's a lot of other things that they're working on for this game as well. Um, First and foremost, man, like what did you think overall, the look, the feel of the game?
The feel of the game. Well, first I'm just gonna comment on the looks first.
Mm-hmm.
The look, it looks like something out of Blade Runner. I love that movie. It's a cult classic. I love the way how you're you pretty much you have people that have they incorporate tech into their bodies, and you see like this futuristic world. You see the crime scene in your face. You see all the shit that could go wrong. They don't hold back at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love there's a lot of mechanics into this game. I love it where you can actually customize your character, especially you could choose between gender, facial expressions, clothes wise, definitely your whole appearance. You could
Mm-hmm.
change that. Um, and definitely the RPG aspect of it's like depending on what you have on, of course you're gonna have upgrade implants, but even the clothes itself has significance onto how it's gonna better perform, how it's gonna better you performance
Yeah.
wise.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the when it comes to customization, the detail on that is I give him that much.
Mm-hmm.
They really outdid themselves with that. But the only thing that I hate is like I said, I'm not really into first person like that. But I do like the part where how they say, you know what, you had the option of actually driving it in first person or third person, which I was like,
That's what got you all.
that's what got me. I'm like, so you went halfway, but you didn't go all the way. So I was like,
They don't have to, man, because it's so great.
so that, in that part, I'd be like, you know what? I'd rather just drive the fucking car.
That's it. That's what we're doing.
That's
Just
it.
driving.
Just drive, cruising, shooting shit. But that's like I said, that's just my personal preference. But uh, overall, I mean, I can see why the series is a lot of people are waiting for this to come out.
Yeah,
So
me being
I
one
can
of them.
see I can see the playable aspect of it. So yeah, it's if it's even though it's something that I'm not really into, but I can't deny that it's a game that it's going to be fun. And
Yeah.
I think by them delaying it until November, it shows that CD Projekt Red is actually investing their sweet time because they want to make sure that the product that they put out is going to be a product that the people are going to love, and they know that they're going to spend their harder money. So they
Hmm.
want to make sure you're going to get the most bang for your buck.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when a
yeah.
company does that, um, as much as we want to see this game really fast, depending whatever game a company does, even if it's delayed, it could be any game. I'll
Mhm.
always welcome a delay because I rather have a good gaming experience instead of a shitty experience like Anthem.
um, so they showed, a major trailer to the game, had a couple some interviews with the developers and so on. They went into the announcement of a new anime called Edge Runners, which is based in the Cyberpunk world. Um, it's going to come out in 2022, as they said. We don't know how it links up, but they said that they wanted it to be its own story.
Mhm.
So I think it'll have aspects of the game in it, but all in all, it'll be something totally different, story wise at least. And then they showed the gameplay of this mode called Brain Dance, which is how you looked at it, kind of at first glance, and I could see why, as its own version of detective mode from the Batman games.
Mhm.
Um, what after kind of we figuring out what this really was, what did that do? Do you still feel the same way, or do you think it's a better version of that?
Well, the way they explained it, it's and again it falls under how they do with the story wise, the whole world what Cyberpunk 77 is, where you
Mm-hmm.
actually would purchase I guess somebody's experience, and
Yeah,
they'll implant said experience in your head, and you get to see it in your eyes, but through their consciousness in a
yeah,
way. And I love the fact that you can actually manipulate your environment to get better angles of what could have happened, and somehow figure out how this person did that. And
yeah,
especially with that demo that we got, I love the part where you actually got the, I guess, the guy's reflection off the steel box that was on
yeah,
the table. And is again is those things to detail that what makes that game stand out. Like
yeah.
it's a lot of things that they actually incorporated, that it's not just you shooting and dodging bullets. It's a lot more. And that's why this game, it's gonna take easily, I won't be surprised, at least 60 hours of gameplay, if that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that move was impressive, and I
Yeah,
give them that.
yeah. It's I mean, it's a CD Project Red game. It's gonna be so much in there that you can do. It's gonna be so much you can that yeah, 60 hours it might be the minimum for the regular player. For completionists, I'll give it 70 to 90 hours easily. The Witcher was one of those games. If you're a completionist, that's a nightmare. You're playing for a good minute. For someone like you, Horizon Zero Dawn took a long
Mm.
time. The Witcher is going to take you a year
E-
because
Easily.
you know a game like Cyberpunk will do the same, if not more. They're they're looking at it and building it on a much larger front. That the game looks larger, it feels bigger than The Witcher did. Um, and that's my third anticipated game. It was The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, and Cyberpunk 77. We know that there are certain games that again we have on our list that haven't been announced as far as the release date is yet. But those were my three games. Avengers is now number 4 on that list because I really did enjoy what we saw today. So I think those will be my games, and the cool thing is by that time we'll definitely be doing the playthrough stuff. So we can, people can see how horrible we are at gaming and play the fuck out like the Avengers and so on and so forth. But yeah, Cyberpunk definitely looks great. I can't wait. I'm kind of hoping, that's it's a good it'll be a good time because again, launch. So it's like, okay, I can get this new system, get the Series X or PS5 version, whatever I'm grabbing first, and that takes me well into that launch cycle. So it's kind of a good thing that they did bump it because now I have something to really, really play into when at launch. As far as long as I'm waiting for these other games to drop that I'm anticipating. So I'm hopefully they put out a couple of teasers, Halo Infinite being one of them, but we're waiting till next month to see what that's going to be, man. And the next one of these big reveal shows will be Inside Xbox in July.
Yeah. And before that, a quick question
Mm-hmm.
is the Cyberpunk 77, is that part of their delivery
Smart
program?
delivery,
Smart
yes.
delivery?
So
Okay.
it was announced. It was announced last week, I believe, that it was or week. It was announced some time ago, like within the recent week or so, that it would be smart delivery. It was announced again maybe before this that it was also going to be the smart delivery aspect onto the PS5 as well. Xbox actually, Microsoft actually released a list of games, which I don't have on hand at the moment, but they released a list of games that that were going to be compatible with smart delivery. And I believe it's like 12 games so far that they have. 12 to 20 games they have on the list already.
I know Gears is definitely one of them for
Gears
sure.
5 was one of them. Let me matter of fact. Gears 5, this was another one. What was the Assassin's Creed Valhalla was another one, and funny thing, I read the list too, and I just couldn't.
What's that game? Is there Returnal that's theirs, right?
No, that's PlayStation's.
The PlayStation.
So far, it's PlayStation's. I don't know what's going to happen. So right now, the games that they have listed on Smart Delivery are as follows: Rainbow Six Siege, Halo Infinite, Cyberpunk 2077, Gears 5, Destiny 2, Dirt 5, Scarlet Nexus, Chorus,
Mhm.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, Yakuza Like a Dragon, The Ascent, Call of the Sea, Second Extinction, and Metal Hellslinger.
Okay, which is good. I mean, that's when it comes to the smart delivery, I think that's what Xbox is doing smart. They're not, like I said, they're not punishing you if you don't have the series, if you don't buy the Series X right away. So
Mm,
if you buy these games on the Xbox One, then if you decide to purchase the Series X, at least you get the free upgrade, which
yeah.
I think is good because it kind of gives this playing that game, gives it new life.
Now, I heard at one point EA wasn't didn't want to be a part of this, but then I'm hearing that they're putting Madden and FIFA on that smart delivery list. So we'll see. Obviously we'll find out more. They had a interview with the one of the lead designers talking about smart delivery, what it really really is. So they're definitely going to get more and more into it during this new Inside Xbox next month, which I want to see what's going on. Like I want to see. We'll get another one of these. We'll get another state. We'll get a state of play hopefully, and get to see some more demos from Sony's end. And it's funny, like with all this, Nintendo's just sitting back, like, well, do what you guys do. We're still selling, like we're still
we're,
good. Don't worry,
we're still cheap. That's why
you know.
we're selling it like hotcakes.
Man, the one thing about the Switch is like Nintendo has a way to innovate a system and sell the fuck out that system, man. They definitely do. The N64 isn't the most fantastic thing, but that shit sold out. The Wii was great. The Wii U was just an extension of that, and then the Switch being what it is. Excuse me. The I think that they're doing. Nintendo's just sitting back and doing what they have to do, and it's not even survival. Like they're killing. And so right now it's all about Microsoft and it's all about Sony. We can even hope that there's some type of new Switch dropping, which we were hearing, then it got shut down. I would like something like that, like a much more powerful Switch that you can just keep in the home, and I'll definitely buy one of those.
Or the Switch Pro, as we nickname it.
Yeah, something like that. Listen, I'd get it definitely, but I'll grab my Switch soon anyway. Once this whole quarantine thing is over and I can get my hands on one, then I'll buy a couple so that mine doesn't get taken by someone in this house.
A certain little gremlin.
Yeah, who loves to take my gaming shit, But yeah, we'll see what Nintendo's gonna do. I can't wait, man. So we got this. We got the after party coming soon. We got our first roundtable recorded and ready to be released, so people can hear us talk more shit about with other people.
That was a pretty good show.
No, it was a really good show, man.
Really good
and
show.
So much to do, man. The Broheim Syndicate we're just getting started here. It's going to be a fun and bumpy ride.
Yes. A very bumpy ride.
That's it, man.
I mean, I'm just happy that we're actually, doing this. Like I said, two best friends, man, just talking shit that we love to do, man. Games, movies, man. I mean, that's what makes the journey so fun.
That's it, man. And with that being said, I mean, we couldn't even said that better than that, man. But with that being said, man.